I'd like to call this meeting to order. This is our LPA meeting.
Yes, Mayor.
Can we have a roll call?
Yes, Commissioner Joseph,
Here.
Commissioner Lama,
Here.
Commissioner Stuyvesant, Vice Mayor Viscara,
Here.
Mayor Goldman,
Here.
all members present.
Okay, public hearing.
Mayor, before we begin, we just wanted to note that we used an incorrect letterhead when we originally had set the agenda. So we wanted to apologize to Commissioner Joseph, but we've corrected it, and everything you have now is correct. Thank you.
Thank you.
Accepted.
Apology accepted.
Okay, just for the record and for the benefit of the public, this is an LPA meeting, which is a local planning agency. The City Commission sits as a local planning agency to essentially recommend to themselves any changes to the local land development regulations that we have in the city. So the only item on today's agenda is a motion and discussion regarding an ordinance of the City Commission amending the coastal management element and the future land use element of the adopted City of Sunny Isles Beach Comprehensive Plan.
Jeff?
Good evening, Mayor and Council. My name is Jeff Kadams with SEPI Engineering and Construction, and I've worked on this project for the city. In 2015, state law was amended to create a parallel flood requirement, and essentially it directed all local governments to address in their coastal management elements, and again, these are coastal local governments, without ever really talking about sea level rise. It did talk about the peril of flooding, and directed all local governments to essentially require considerations going forward for redevelopment with regard to sea level rise. So essentially, all of the amendments to your coastal management element that are in this ordinance simply say when you have an opportunity to build resilience into a project, whether it's capital planning, development regulations, what you're requiring of the private sector, take the opportunity when you can, do the cost benefit, see if it's something that can be done. And certainly when there's redevelopment on a large scale following a hurricane or other natural disaster, whether it's infrastructure or buildings and structures within the community, consider sea level rise in rebuilding. Something that you're probably doing quite a bit already. You're certainly doing it with regard to infrastructure. You have to. You'd have to be doing it. So it's not really covering new ground. I think the most concrete thing in here is developing design standards and elevation standards for seawalls, which I'm guessing you probably have done, and if not, the county's got countywide standards that everybody probably has to meet. There's also some language in here from Durham about water and sewer infrastructure, and even though you don't actually own and maintain it, there's language in here anyway talking about the design standards for how they have to be elevated and waterproofed when there's infrastructure repairs and projects that are being undertaken. Essentially, that is it. This is the bulk of what was required by statute for the city to address with the update of its comprehensive plan on the 7-year evaluation and appraisal cycle. The property rights element, which is on for second reading at your commission meeting, is the other item. And with these two, you have met the requirements. I'm happy to answer any questions you might have.
Thank you for keeping us in compliance, right?
Appreciate it.
Thank you. Any comments from the dais? Anyone? Or
Public comment.
public comments? I haven't received any public speaker cards, so
There's
I have no
public
comments.
for this.
No comments.
No.
Thank you, Ed. Unless we have any questions, any comments, then we'll entertain a motion.
So moved.
Roll call?
No, it's just a.
Just a voice
vote.
vote? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. That,
There's no other business. to
no
come
other
up.
business, that concludes our LPA meeting, so are we ready
Thank
to,
you.
do we need a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
So moved, do we have a second? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.